Hey everyone, welcome to this explainer. Today we're diving into a hidden health hazard that could literally be lurking in the very walls of your home right now. We're going to break down some critical joint guidance from the EPA, the Consumer Product Safety Commission, and HUD to basically demystify exactly what you need to know about lead paint. Let's get right into it. So let's start off with a simple, but honestly, potentially life-altering question. Are you buying or renting an older home? It's a question that totally dictates whether you need to be on high alert. You know, a lot of us absolutely love the charm of historic properties, right? Or we rely on the affordability of older apartments. But that age, well, it often comes with a completely invisible environmental danger. And that brings us to a magic number, 1978. That year is your absolute baseline. Why? Because 1978 is the exact year the federal government permanently banned consumer uses of lead-containing paint. So if the building you live in, or the one you're about to move into, was built before 1978, you really have to operate under the assumption that there's a potential lead risk that needs managing. It's just safer that way. To make this easy, we've broken things down into 4 parts. First, the hidden household danger. Second, how lead actually harms humans. Third, your legal right to know. And finally, testing and safe renovations. All right, let's jump straight into Section 1, the hidden household's danger. If you live in a private home, an apartment complex, or even if you use a childcare facility that was built before that crucial year of 1978, there is a very high likelihood it contains lead-based paint. And you know, the data shows this risk doesn't discriminate based on your zip code. It applies whether you're right in the middle of a bustling city, out in the quiet country, or deep in the suburbs. Plus, it's not just an indoor problem. It can actually be heavily present in the soil right around the house, picking up concentrated lead from deteriorating exterior paint over the decades. Now, this hazard manifests in ways you might not expect. I mean, you don't have to literally eat peeling paint chips to be in danger here. The real threat? It's friction. Just everyday wear and tear on moving parts. Think about opening and closing those beautiful vintage window frames or walking up and down painted stairs. That simple friction grinds the paint down into invisible, highly toxic lead dust. This dust just settles on floors and children's toys, and it can easily re-enter the air just from you vacuuming or walking through the room. Wild, right? Moving on to Section 2, how lead harms humans. Okay, so once this lead dust is actually breathed in or swallowed, it goes to work immediately, basically acting as a powerful neurotoxin. It straight up attacks the body's nervous system and vital organs. And here's the scary part. Even at incredibly low exposure levels, it doesn't just stay localized. It moves rapidly right through your bloodstream, systematically affecting hearing, digestion, and complex neurological functions. In extreme cases of high exposure, the toxicity can even cause seizures or total unconsciousness. And the physiological impacts, they vary devastatingly depending on your age. Children under 6 absolutely face the highest risk. We're talking irreversible brain and nerve damage, lowered IQs, and severe learning disabilities. This happens because their rapidly growing bodies absorb lead way faster than adults do. And let's be real, they're constantly putting dusty hands or toys in their mouths. For adults, the risks shift more towards severe reproductive issues, high blood pressure, and joint pain. And crucially, pregnant women risk passing that lead exposure directly to a developing fetus, right through the placental barrier. Okay, let's talk solutions. Section 3. Your legal right to know. Good news here. Whether you're renting or buying, you are absolutely protected by federal law. Property owners are legally required to provide you with specific official disclosure forms. These detail any known records of lead hazards before you ever sign a contract or a lease. This legal framework is huge. It ensures you aren't just walking into a toxic situation blindly. And alongside that paperwork, they actually must hand you a federally approved pamphlet all about lead poisoning prevention. Now, the legal timelines do differ a bit depending on your situation. If you're a home buyer, you are federally guaranteed a 10-day window to test the property for lead before being locked into the purchase. 10 days. Renters, on the other hand, must receive all hazard documentation and disclosures up front, way before the lease takes effect. So if you're buying, you can use those 10 days to conduct a formal risk assessment. Exercising these rights is really your absolute first line of defense. Which brings us to our final part, Section 4, testing and safe renovations. If you do want to check your home, you should know there's a pretty strict hierarchy of professional testing. Step 1 is a paint inspection. This uses localized methods like those cool portable X-ray fluorescence machines to map out exactly where the lead paint is hidden. Step 2 is a risk assessment. This actually samples the dust and soil to tell you if that paint is currently posing an active hazard. And finally, step 3 is a combination inspection. This is really the gold standard because it does both. It pinpoints the location and the immediate threat levels simultaneously. Now, when it's time to fix up the house, things can get incredibly dangerous if they're done wrong. Never, ever use DIY methods like open flames or high heat guns over 1100 degrees. Why? Well, because extreme heat literally vaporizes the lead into a toxic, highly breathable gas. No, thank you. Similarly, power sanding creates these massive, totally uncontainable dust clouds. Instead, the standard for lead-safe practices requires certified professionals to use strict containment protocols. We're talking wrapping the work area in heavy plastic, using specialized HEPA vacuums, doing thorough daily cleanups, and sealing all waste completely securely. Listen, this part is non-negotiable. If you hire a contractor for a pre-1978 home, federal law mandates they absolutely must be a LEED-safe certified firm. Before they even pick up a single hammer, they are required to provide you with the EPA's LEED-safe certified guide to renovate right. If someone shows up to tear down walls in your older home and doesn't hand you the specific guide, you need to hit pause on that project immediately. Okay, shifting gears a bit, here is a fascinating and honestly highly empowering fact about your daily routine. A healthy diet is actually a natural defense mechanism. Ensuring your children eat nutritious meals high in iron and calcium literally blocks lead absorption. Think about it. Biologically, if a child's body is starved of calcium or iron, it'll just readily absorb toxic lead in its place. So a healthy kitchen strategy actually provides real physiological armor for the most vulnerable members of your family. How cool is that? Alongside testing and diet, you can dramatically reduce your family's risk right now with some super simple daily habits. Just wipe down those dusty windowsills with a damp sponge, wash toys frequently, and maybe enforce a strict no shoes policy at the door to avoid tracking in contaminated soil from the yard. Oh, and here's one absolutely critical safety tip directly from the guidance. While you're cleaning up household dust, never mix ammonia and bleach products. Doing that creates a highly toxic chloramine gas. You definitely don't want to trade one invisible hazard for another. So, as we wrap up this explainer today, I want to leave you with one immediate, totally actionable question to go find the answer to the second this ends. Ready? When was your home built? Knowing that single date, whether it's pre or post 1978, is really the very first step in taking control of your environment, asserting your legal rights, and keeping your family safe. Go find out.